Guys, it's me, Miss Norris, and today I'd like to share a fun read aloud with you of the story Melia and Jo. Melia and Jo was written in 2018 by Billy Aronson and was illustrated by Jennifer Oxley, and it's a wonderful way to celebrate Black History Month. If you're ready to hear the story of an unlikely friendship between an artist and a scientist, I'm ready to share it with you. Here we go. Melia and Jo. Some diagrams. Melia loved science. Every day in her backyard lab, she would create things that could scrub, pitch, tickle, bounce, fly, ding, or even make your bed. So she's got does science in her backyard. This is Melia. Most of Melia's creations weren't finished. She just kept working on them, measuring, testing, reading, observing, having a snack, testing again. And if the invention didn't work yet, she went through all those steps again. That's what scientists do. They keep trying and trying and trying, and also having a snack. One day, Melia was working on an airplane made of paper. She adjusted the wings, she adjusted the tail, she pulled the propeller a teeny bit further out, but still the plane wouldn't soar. How could she make it fly fast and far? Suddenly, Melia heard a strange sound. Growling? Howling? Yelping? She's perfecting her paper plane when she begins to hear a very unusual sound. I wonder what it could be. Oh. The girl came whirling and twirling toward Melia. "I'm Jo," she said, "but you can call me Jojo or Josephine or Jojo Joe on the go, go, go." "I'm Melia," Melia replied. "You can call me Melia." So that horrible sound was Jojo Joe on the go, go, go. And she seems to think it's fun to have lots of nicknames. Melia likes to be Melia. Melia started to explain what she was busy working on. Melia started to explain that she was busy working on a really important invention when Jo leaped right into Melia's lab. "You've got so much cool stuff here, Melia Bobelia," she said. Said Jo as she flipped a bowl with an antenna and put it on her head. That's not a hat, actually," said Melia, carefully flipping it again. Jo held up a bendy contraption and turned its crank. "I love this bendy ladder." "It's actually not a ladder," said Melia. So right now, Jo is using Melia's science inventions in creative ways, but Melia is very concerned because that's not what they are made for. "Cool plane," said Jo, picking up the paper plane and tossing it. "Careful," said Melia, as the plane plunged towards the mud. Melia dove to catch it. Jo plucked a dandelion. "Too bad your plane doesn't fly like the fluff on a dandelion," she said. Poof! The seeds went soaring in all directions. So the plane that Melia had been working on got tossed by Jo and landed in the mud. And in the meantime, Jo says, "It's too bad your airplane can't be like these dandelion seeds. They just spin and fly everywhere." Jo stopped to take a bite out of a licorice stick. Then she squealed, "Ooh! Check out the clubhouse balloon thing. Jo poked her licorice stick into the neck of a small headless robot for safekeeping as she dashed toward the clubhouse. The robot was one of Melia's favorite inventions. Its head kept falling off, but she loved it just the same. "You can't put a licorice stick in my robot!" Melia shouted. Jo didn't even seem to hear. She skipped right back to her yard and started a new dance. So she saw this clubhouse with a big balloon. She put her licorice stick inside the robot and made Melia very mad in the process and didn't even realize it. She just danced back into her own yard. As Melia put her inventions back in order, she laughed about Jo's silly ideas. She thought my cereal bowl radio was a hat. But as Melia held the bowl upside down, she began to wonder. When Melia put her plane back, she remembered how Jo blew on the dandelion. Could Melia blow on the plane to make it soar? Next, Melia reached for her headless robot and gasped. With that sticky licorice in the robot's neck, the head stays right in place. Melia was shocked. Jo is a genius. So, Jo, at first, Melia thought Jo was kind of a disaster and she was using all of her experiments wrong. But when she thought about those discussions, it gave her a lot of ideas of how to make things better in her own experiments. Now she thinks Jo is a genius. Melia hurried over to Jo's yard. "Yo, Jo," she called, but Jo didn't answer. She was creating a dance inspired by a leaping frog. Melia came closer. "Can we be a team, Jo? Please, please, please?" "No dealia, Melia," Jo replied, leaping higher and higher. "Why should I try to make a plane that soars when I can soar myself?" "Watch out!" shouted Melia, but it was too late. Jo had leapt so high she'd gotten stuck on a tree branch. So Jo said, "I don't even think I want to be your partner because I can do all those things by myself. I don't need a partner to soar and to go very high." "Hang on, Jo!" Melina dashed away and dashed right back with her crank contraption. As she turned the crank, its bendy ladder reached all the way up to the branch. Jo scampered down the ladder. "Your inventions are the real deal, Mel." "I wouldn't have known this invention's true use if it weren't for you," said Melia. "It never worked as a spaghetti server, but when you called it a ladder, I realized it would be perfect for getting people down from trees." So this is supposed to be a spaghetti server, and she never thought about it being a ladder, but it turned out to be just the perfect invention when Jo got stuck in a tree. Melia brought out one invention after another to show Jo how she'd helped improve them. The antenna hat was perfect for listening to the radio while walking. The licorice stick kept the robot's head on. And when she blew into the straw on the back of the plane would soar fast and far. So Jo seems as though she was a scientist and she didn't even know it. But Melia is pointing out that she really is a scientist as well. Jo realized that Melia was right. These two were meant to be together. They headed over to Melia's lab. "Sorry I yelled at you," said Melia. "Sorry I stuck my licorice stick in your robot's neck without asking," said Jo. As they began working on inventions, Melia didn't mind if Jo rearranged things or turned them upside down or gave them funny names. She realized that was Jo's way of working. So she's saying, maybe it would be fun to work together. And now Melia realizes that different people work in different ways. Some people need it to be just a certain way, and some people need it to be kind of crazy and experiment and move things around for it to work. Melia helped with Joe's creations too. She concocted a gooey material that they could use to make set pieces for Joe's dances, and homemade musical instruments they could play when Joe was singing her songs. By combining Joe's art skills with Melia's science skills, they could create more super cool stuff together than either could create alone. So it's not just science that they're getting together on, but also inventing things for art and really making some super cool stuff together. When the robot waddled by, Melia said, "Let's call him Reynaldo, the licorice neck robot." "Great idea, amazing Amelia," said Joe. "Thanks, genius Josephinius," Melia replied. So now they're working together nicely. They have nicknames for each other. They're high-fiving each other. Reynaldo's licorice neck wouldn't last long, but the friendship between Melia and Joe would last forever. The end. And in the back of this book, it shows you some different ways to make paper airplanes that might fly like dandelions, and it talks about the STEAM Dream team. Melia has strong STEM skills. She's really good at science, technology, engineering, and math. Joe's all about the arts, singing, dancing, painting, acting, and designing things. When you put an A for arts in STEM, you get STEAM. Melia and Joe are a perfect STEAM team. They put their skills together to solve problems and make amazing creations. How often do you use your STEAM skills? When using them, which of these words describe you? So being a dream steamer involves being creative, curious, brave, patient, imaginative, flexible, daring, observant, persistent. Those are words that mean don't give up, keep asking questions, and ask yourself, what do you want to know more about? Use your STEAM skills well, and they will power you ahead to cool solutions and amazing creations of your own. The end. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you really enjoyed the story of Melia and Jo. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button at the bottom of the page. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. If you're not a subscriber yet, please consider clicking that subscribe bell down at the bottom of the page. And don't forget to click the bell so that you're notified when there's new content. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to say a big thank you to the Howie family for loaning me an amazing collection of books that I get to share with you, my YouTube followers. Thank you, and I hope to see you all again real soon. Bye-bye.